Welcome to We the People, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the within community, culture, and politics. I'm your host, Fallon Dee Cee, aka the Policy Princess, giving you all the details on all the latest topics. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you want me to discuss. You can also catch me every other Thursday on mixx106radio.com.
Biggest gap in our community is between black male and black female. How do we get black males and black females talking honestly and working on a plan together that unifies our community, that strengthens our households, and that improves us economically? How do we do that?
Well, first of all, black men and black women. I just hate that term females. That's just
Okay.
personal.
Okay.
Personal thing.
Black men and black women.
Black men and black women.
Okay.
So also, I think one of the first things we have to do is we have to get offline. All these podcasts saying, whether it's the sprinkle lady for the women or the dude that had died. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on him right now.
Right.
Saying, this is what you need to do. Like, we listening to other people that may or may not even be successful, right?
Right.
That they just have a following.
Right.
Probably need to stop listening to Steve Harvey too, right? I'm just like, think like a man, act like whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, bruh.
Right.
You on your second one, right?
No.
Fourth marriage? Yeah, so I'm just saying. Like, we just be listening to anybody and everybody.
Right.
And then over here, so we were creating all of these, divides and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, one of the big things, yes, black women voted for Kamala, at 92%, and black men were at 78%, but that's still a significant percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this idea that, black men hate black women and vice versa. Black women hate black men. So I'm I think we need to step back and just have actual conversations with each other. Because I know, just I also know a lot of black men that are very supportive of the work that black women are doing.
Right.
People like yourself, people
Right.
like Clifton, Richard Rose.
I don't have a choice. I'm a girl dad.
Right. But
Yeah. I don't have a choice.
But my point
right.
is, there's actually a lot of black men that are very, and there's a lot of black women that are supportive too, right?
Right.
But I ain't gonna lie, we about tired of being out here on the front lines when a black man get killed, and they ain't on the front lines when a black woman get killed.
Right. Now that's true.
I'm
That's
just
true.
throwing that out there. 'Cause
You speaking some truth.
We will be out there in the streets,
Right.
but when it comes to some of the women,
Right. Yeah.
it ain't the same reaction.
Right. Right. Because this lady that got killed and got shot in the head for the pot of water on the stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
have been
everywhere.
The man should have been out.
Yeah, everywhere.
I'm just saying.
Right.
So, but I think those are also conversations that we need to have. Also, I do understand that being out there on the front lines is probably less of a risk for me than for a black man, right? I can understand that.
Right.
But, okay, so maybe you can't be on the front line, but because, I'm less threatening or whatever, even though some people think I'm mean.
But what is the disconnect, though? What is the
disconnect?
In your opinion, what do you see as the disconnect?
Sometimes I think it's almost it's almost like this oppression Olympics that we find. The black man's no, I'm the most oppressed. The black woman's no, I'm the most oppressed, right? And so we battling about who.
You call it the suppressed, oppressed.
Oppression Olympics.
This is real.
But we also see that in the greater progressive community, right?
Right.
Someone that they'd be gay people are more oppressed, and other people black people are more
Right,
oppressed. Other
right.
people no, Muslim people are more, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We make all these distinctions that don't matter because at the end of the day, they foot on everybody's neck.
Right. So it ain't. Yeah, it ain't
stepping on all of us.
Right, and it ain't like you worse than me. It's everybody.
They stepping on all of us.
Right.
And I think that's why I say we need to come in and have these actual have these conversations. And but shout out to the folks that were regardless, we're still gonna support going both ways. And I know I talked about Clifton already, but like Clifton is like a black single man. Well, I don't know if he's single, but a black man that has shown up time and time again. Just for even me personally, like you know, I had a textathon the other night. You know, right before the election eve, and he's like, "Oh, y'all doing something?" He showed up and invited people to show up. You know what I'm
Shout out
saying?
Cliff.
So I'm just like, we really have to have more conversations, come from a place of love, break down some of the, I think we put up walls, and at the end of the day, that's what they want. Us being fractured, just think about how they split up our families and slavery and other stuff. Us being fractured keeps us from fighting back.
What do you, in your opinion, hear from single women saying that they need from black men? What do they need that you're hearing out there?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You talk to women.
I have a lot of single friends.
I know, but women, your friends, you're around women. What do they need from black men?
I think one of the biggest things, I can't speak for everyone else, but I know one of the biggest things for me is like feeling protected and safe.
Right.
Because in the world that we live in, you know, we can go back to Malcolm X, right?
Right.
You know, so like not feeling safe and protected, and that doesn't always mean, you know, that doesn't mean you got to be a millionaire. I mean, it might be nice, you know, you got to be a bag or something, you know.
Right.
Bags, but and shoes. But no, but it's like, it's just like where I can, you know, come home and like a lot of times like we have to wear a mask.
Right.
In the world, right? Because you can't be too this, you can't, you know, can't be too aggressive, you can't be too, you know, can't be too direct sometimes, you know, all these things that make you, the stereotypical angry black women.
Right.
You know, like, we be tired. So it's nice to like come home and where you can be true, complete self and you're safe.
Right.
And that means like physically safe, but also like your heart and mind. Too.
Right. So let me give it to my opinion based on being a black man. Most black men that I know of like black women that are just relaxed and chilled and their authentic self.
Right. But we can't be that a lot of times.
You can when you can't when you know that the person that you're chilling with, if it's your friend, you don't have to put on a mask around a guy that's your friend.
That's what I mean about that
safe
space.
Right. So what I would encourage, being a black man, that the more authentic a black woman is, the more attractive she is. She don't have to do much. A black woman, the more authentic that you are, your natural ass self, that gives you more stock when it comes to a man. Right? Because they looking at you in the raw and say, that's what I like. That's first thing. Then the second part is you come into the conversation and the relationship, whether it be friendship, whether it's trying to grow into an intimate relationship, you come with an open mind of, I'm your friend and my energy is here to be genuine and to be helpful. Right? I don't come in here with all my issues and all of my past hurts and stuff like that. You know, that's a part of who I am, but I'm not putting that all at the burden at your feet, right? And so I'm starting a new slate. I'm coming in with the energy of being authentic with you and having an open concept of accepting who you are and being helpful with you in the relationship. That's two. Then the third part of it is if there's an intimate, if it gets to a level of intimacy, right? And feelings get involved, the foundation of what you're building on is with friends, we respect one another, and it becomes a concept about what's best for we, us, and ours, right? And so when black women understand those dynamics, then she'll build a foundation where it'll last even if the relationship, you outgrow the person, right? Because that can happen. That person gets so comfortable where they're not trying to improve and all of this stuff, and then you saying, okay, it's getting uncomfortable for me, and we outgrow each other. There will still be a baseline where we got a level of respect and a level of friendship that'll last forever. And I got relationships like that where the relationship didn't work out because, I'm a little bit off. But hell, our friendship's still solid as hell, and there's nothing in the world I won't do for them.
And I think one of the things that's what I see when that's able to happen is when you have not just honesty, but transparency.
Right.
Because being honest is being like, I ask you, where are you going today? And you're like, I'm going XYZ. Being transparent is, hey, my friends asked me to go out here. I'm being, this is who's going to be there.
Right.
Not being like, oh, well, you didn't ask, so I didn't say, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
I think that sometimes, like, people mistake or try to, switch up honesty and transparency.
Right.
And they'll be like, well, you didn't ask. And no, that's how, and I think when we're transparent and like the example I just gave, but also like, I think to your point about who we really are and being authentic, then we can have those relationships.
Right, because you are, the reality is, you operate better and you give more when it's somebody that you authentically like who they are.
Absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I can tell you right now, I got a buddy of mine, he and his wife, I got a couple of friends. I can show some examples. I got a buddy of mine, him and his wife been together about 30 years. Buddy of mine named Petey. They like real friends. He and his wife, they talk about whatever, they travel, they do shit. I got a cousin, Jake, and my cousin Sent. It's like they goofy as hell. You be like, but they meant for each other. Like, they goofy. I'm talking about they crack jokes on each other. They do all kind of crazy stuff, but they've been together so long that it's just, that's their dynamic.
Like my parents. They've been there, 40-something years?
Yeah.
Like,
you ain't finna come between them because they so tight. It's annoying because they got a thing that's their thing. You've seen that your whole life.
Yeah.
It's their thing. They're not gonna let y'all disrupt that. Right. I got family members, Murdoch and Demetrius. They've been together since they were teenagers too. They got a little thing that's their thing, 3D and his wife. And when I look at all of these people, it's that authentic them.
But you know what they also have? Probably all those relationships?
What's that?
There's a level of mutual respect.
That's it. They can see you when you're vulnerable and love you.
And still respect you. And I think that's the thing. Like, even when you're upset with each other and you have disagreements, which we know is going to happen, but it's still having that respect.
Right.
I think that's what makes it, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just like lashing out and saying hurtful things intentionally, but been like, just having respect for each other.
Right. I think that when we find authentic people that can come together, have a real conversation, be honest with each other, and that's how we strengthen our community. It's got to come back to that man and that woman. You know what I'm saying? They got to get together and be intentional on growing a community that's intentional on making itself better and being intentional on growing families that's going to be strong and united. When we do that, we're unstoppable. When we're like that, we're unstoppable. When we're united as a family structure, that collective that you're talking about, there's nothing and no one that could ever stop us. And that's why people are working day in and day out to keep us divided by putting those type of stereotypes out there, by promoting those type of mindsets on social media and digital platforms all over.
But I also just want to note that family and that collective includes us all. Like sometimes even as our own, we try to exclude certain subsets of our community.
Right.
And like, I know you always say this at the end of the show, but we are really all we got. And that is all, that's all of us.
That's it.
And we have to respect those of us that, you know, family can look a little different sometimes. And
Right.
that's okay.
Right.
But we're all working toward that same collective. But so we have to be inclusive rather than like excluding.
I agree wholeheartedly. This is to black men and black women. We got to come together, y'all. I need y'all to understand, without us, there's no us.